Heyo, it's NLO, and we are starting off episode 14. I really think this episode, I want to get a little bit of a foundation started, so there might be another episode of Side Quest coming out with me kind of figuring out some building techniques and ideas. I tried to make a large copper pipe, and as you can tell, that's not going very well over here. This building will be for all the mob drops, mainly from the witch farm, but it will also house all of everything else. The blue here will represent all the entrances and exits. So we have this little bridge that I've been working on. I kind of like it. I just got to replace the stone there with some of the cut copper stairs and slabs. Over here, this would be the building that has all the mason villagers and the iron farm for that. So I want every type of villager to have its own village so I can get an iron farm off of each one. The village stacking on bedrock can be kind of tedious, so we'll see how long I last until I stop working on that. I want to do like a village building, and then a middle building, and then a village building, and then a middle building, and then back behind this one do like another street, kind of how I've got the road over here, so that way I can do some more. So it'll be quite a large project. I wanted most of my buildings to be facing this main road, but I think some of the villager buildings, if I can do like a filler in between, and I can kind of butt them up against each other with the filler being down the middle, or I could do kind of like a creek or something down the middle. This is a very large project. These builds will be very tall. So like the stone over here represents how tall the mob collection building will be, just because I want there to be basically the silos that we have over there just chilling inside of this. So it's going to be a very long building, not a very wide building, and I'm going to have multiple entrances on this one, so probably one on that side as well, depending if I'm going to actually have this road here. I have updated the map. Not a whole lot has changed on it, other than obviously being able to see the roads and the little pipe over here. But I want to learn this building style that I think I'm creating. I'm not too sure, but as you can see, we do have the roads over here. Those silos have actually been torn down. They're just floating chest and glowstone. The bees will get moved once again. I think I'm just gonna kind of make this a little bit larger, but I want a building for everything. I want there to be one building for sugarcane farm, one building for cactus farm. I really just have to nail this in between mixing of cyberpunk and steampunk. So these buildings will be absolutely massive to kind of fit that cyberpunk vibe, and then all of the kind of like tech stuff with all the pipes will be there to go for that side of it that is the steampunk. But we run into a problem when it comes to what color palette I want. I want it to be dark and grungy, so like all this will be kind of rusted over. So I kind of leaned into trying to figure out if it was diesel punk that I was after earlier, and it's not exactly diesel punk. I want it to also be rustic, so there's going to be a lot of this area going this way will be farm area, and this will go back probably another like 200 blocks just for these next couple of buildings, and then we can lean it into kind of the farmage. All the actual farms will be housed in buildings and away from view, but there will be some farms out to the side for looks. I just think that we're going to run into a whole lot of problems if I really start trying to hightail working on buildings. I could obviously always come back and correct it, but I don't want to spend a lot of time starting and deconstructing. So with that said, we'll get started into the episode, and I'm sorry, but the buildings will wait just a little bit. So not only am I putting a pause on the actual building, I'm putting a pause on some of the deconstruction of... I'll need a lot of this a little later. I've taken a lot of dirt down, and I have this as well. That goes down to bedrock on those couple of blocks. But everything that we will also have above us in the future will need to be done. So this is slightly problematic because it means a lot of mining blocks, and I can't really make like a TNT launcher on Bedrock, but I also really don't want to do anything with TNT, just due to the fact that I want to keep all of the blocks that fall. So I mean, I guess I could use TNT, blow it up, and then go collect the blocks, but I feel like it'd be faster if I just mine it with haste. And part of me also wanted to keep all of the ores just kind of floating in the area, but I've decided to not do that just because I want to be able to use the copper and coal as I get it. But as you can see, a lot of this is missing the dirt. It's missing quite a bit of the stone as well. Some of this was actually like up to this level, which is insane to think about. For draining, I ended up using the sand method. I thought I could just get away with using sponges and nothing else. But if you have any ideas or like questions about my building style, please let me know. And also, it's like 99% of the people that watch my channel aren't subscribed. So go ahead and click that subscribe button if you would like to be either featured in another video, or if you say something that is really helpful, I'll add you as a fish into my survival world, which I will be working on like an actual display for those pretty soon. It'll be one of the buildings coming up. I think it's going to harbor like the first 1,000 fish. I think we're at like 15 right now, so we've got a few. I can start making shorts content. It's like saying like, hey, this person's a fish, congratulate them. But there's so many things I want to do with this channel, and so many things I want to do with this world, in this realm. It is a realm. There were other players. Some of them got busy with life, some of them moved to other countries. So we've just got a whole lot going on, and my plans are not stopping. I'm taking the biggest step forward I can in wanting to build. I want there to be like no holding back. This will take a couple of years probably to complete. This pixel art I do want to work on very soon. I think I want to try and finish this during a couple of live streams. There will be more live streams coming up every week. Hopefully we get a live stream in. I think my main problem is going to be all of these trees and everything in the way. I don't like placing the dirt down at all. I kind of do that while I'm listening to music, or if I'm like listening to a podcast, or just if I've got something going on in the background, I'll just be sitting here placing dirt. I really want to get into the meat and potatoes of this, but as I said, I just don't want to rush it. I don't want to ruin the experience for you guys, and I don't want to ruin and waste my time just completely destroying building after building. I wish I was better at building. I normally just kind of dig in a hole and do like a entire like ant colony kind of thing for all of my builds. So I would love to have one building that is a like actual library that has these chiseled bookshelves that harbor all of my enchanted books and like other books and like book and quills, have some Easter eggs in the world. But during this episode, I think what we're gonna do is I want to talk a little bit about the village stacking. So village stacking would require us to have two villagers, i.e. two guys from over there, really far away, and basically slowly bringing them back. I might use trumpet to bring them back, like one or two at a time, and make sure that they connect to the area that you're looking for. So like you can't have any extra beds or any extra like workstations. But instead of taking two of my guys away, I think I can leave the village I have over there, as long as I have the exact amount of beds and workstations, and I can just nab a couple of these guys and make a breeder over here and move them back and forth. It is a massive pain to really even think that we're just starting on this world, and it's been over 1,000 days. It's been well over what we have up in the top corner. I don't remember how many days I had played before I added the world to a realm, because as soon as I added it to a realm, it kind of lost every day played. I think that we were at close to 300, I want to say. I could be wrong there, but it was like episode 4, so we've come a long way. I have a lot of stuff in my inventory, and I've got a lot of stuff that will just kind of never get sorted out. I'm lost. I think I need to keep going this way. If I get lost without rockets, I'm going to be quite sad, because I don't see any sign of a swamp over this way. I'm gonna head back over here. Ooh, just about enough rockets to get us home, but I want to build something that allows me to store everything. And it sucks to say that, like, this is a terrible sorting area, and this would just be for mob drops. I think what I want to do is have like a stone brick factory type thing, like not like a masonry, but like a stone brick factory that is built up purely for the purpose of being a big old factory with smokestacks that harbors like everything I have. So I could do something really kind of thrown together and then modify it as I go along, because it's gonna have to be big if I want to have all of my sorting system in it. I do think that my plan for underneath will be really cool to at least like 5 people out there. I want to have an actual like underground working rail system that would take items from one area to another. So if I end up with like bulk items that I need sent out to, say, District 3, which would be like back over there, and then like, because this will be like the first district, I can just kind of pack them all in a minecart with chest and send them on their merry way super easily. Much easier said than done, as everything is in this game. But I really want to learn building techniques, and I really want to understand how to build a city and like form something that looks natural, because I don't want it to just be a bunch of blocks and bunch of things. I think that maybe if I was to just do like a mega skyline in the background and then work my way forward, it might work a little bit better. If I was to do that, I would have to have my sorting system all the way in the back, but if that's where the big building would be, then that might be just, you know, what makes sense for us. This episode won't be super chaotic and exciting and crazy. I'm really just trying to spout out ideas and make sure I know what I'm trying to get and what I actually want with this. I need to have some sort of really big bamboo farm, and once I get enough glass bottles for these guys, which I, you know, obviously have to run the witch farm for, which I'm not doing, I can move these guys and I can make it cycle its own bottles. Since I'm not going to use a honey for food, I'm merely like simply going to use it for the honey blocks, which, as you can see, I've been crafting as I'm going, and a honeycomb as well. I just really don't want to screw this up. I want this to be the absolute best it can be. If I end up just placing a whole lot of dirt while I'm brainstorming and trying to think and trying to figure everything out, then so be it. You know, some of this dirt will have to get moved anyway for the path I'm making, which I wanted to make the entire path up above the ground, but looking at this like cyberpunk and steampunk and all of the different little things like that, they all have their like sidewalks and main pathways in the ground. So like these aren't going to be actual roads for like cars or anything. They're all going to be like walking paths. So that makes it a little bit easier on me. I want to get the shapes of all the buildings right. I want to make sure that they're all facing the correct way, and like if I go to build some kind of mega machine, like basically self-milling system, I want to make sure it works and it all works underground. So everything, like all the roads will be labeled underground in one way or another, and I can have like a tunnel. So I can have this for above ground, and then I can build my own like stony tunnel like as a oval in here, and then have everything working in it, and then have like the mail systems like off to the right or left of it, to where the player can't actually see it, but you can go down into the tunnels and the depths, and I can have like a fake kind of runway tunnel. Let me kind of mock up what that would look like. If you're seeing anybody build a like train track ever, that's basically the design I'm going for. This would be spruce, like strip spruce, and then this would just have like some accent to it, and then like obviously this wouldn't be the bottom, but it would be this, but kind of floating but not, and then it would have little like subway stations for each of the little areas, to where you could like walk down and then you could see the station, and then you could see where this is. And I want it to be large enough to where you could fly through it to where we need to be. It's just gonna be a massive undertaking getting all the items for it. It's just, I don't know what angle I want to take this at. I don't know where my starting point is, and I don't know where, like I know my end goal, but I don't know the path. And the journey is the entire reason for taking taking chances and like taking risks. Is like, you obviously, like the path to the end is what makes the end worth it. So we're gonna get this kind of started up hopefully fairly soon. This episode wasn't meant to just be ranting on and talking on this whole time, but definitely in the next one, or definitely in the next episode, we'll do something a lot cooler. We'll do, I can't say it. I can't exactly say what we're gonna do, but this might have something to do with it, you know. I've already conquered it. I need a lot of the light blocks. And then this may have something to do with some future episodes. I need to finish this off. I did a short that was like basically saying like comments and stuff helped finish it up. This is where we got with that amount. So I may do something similar to that in the future and work on these for about an hour or so a day, or just, you know, whatever the numbers, like whatever the goals and stuff get hit. But obviously I'm gonna keep going on and on about these little mediocre tasks if I don't just kind of let myself kind of learn these things. So if there's not an episode of Not So Hardcore fairly soon, it's not because I don't want there to be. I want to post one episode a week, but sometimes we get into these little pits where it's better if we, you know, work on the idea more before jumping right into it. I never want to fail on a project, especially one that's this size. If I can understand and work out what I need to, and I can execute it right the first time, that would make such a better episode than going back and be like, all right, we're breaking this down for the 7th time. Because I've already done that, and like I already said, I'm gonna be redoing the bee farm coming up for too long, but that's because I have a better idea, and I figured out why some of my bees aren't going into the homes. So this new design will fix that. I just need to get everything situated. I have all my dirt over here. I don't like that. But all of this will probably be placed anyway. Maybe what I need to do, honestly, for the time being, is just make a big old platform over here and just store all my stuff off over here That way this can be purely working and purely getting this done, getting the idea out, getting the roads laid. Because I think if I can lay all the roads, I'll know where my headspace is, but I don't want to lay them all out and then have to move it over by like 1 or 2 blocks because of a certain building. So it's just a whole lot of moving pieces that will be stagnant. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's a whole lot of like blocks that have to be literally building blocks that have to be placed together perfectly. So I might make this road and like kind of where that tree is, and like you have to like go around, because it's not going to be a perfect set of like blocks. So you're not going to be able to look from up here, for example, and be like, all right, so this road's going to come up and connect around this building and go right back there. Like this road might come up here and then jet out to the left over this way and then stop. Like every road will be connected, but it will be kind of a maze. If I could just get like a good photo or understanding of this cyberpunk city layout and space it out a little bit more than what it is, because I know it's all large buildings very closely together and a lot of like neon lights and stuff, but I would like large buildings really close together, but like with still gaps and spaces for copper piping and stuff. Maybe if I don't go with the road and like I come back to it later, because like this looks too clean to be steampunky, right? Again, just so many different things. I've just been babbling this entire episode. I've cut down some trees. That is the most basic Minecraft thing you can do. But I've done this was workshopped and this was a fail. This is all coming down right here. I don't know how I'm going to cover the witch farm, unless if I made the witch farm and all of the mob sorting items in one building right here, which I didn't really think about. Like, these are the things that just kind of, as you go, you can think of. So I might turn this behind me into a building, and then this area I could turn into a building for something else. If I map it out like on some graph paper, I might be able to get a better idea. Or if I take this world into creative, like not taking the realm into creative, but taking a version of this world, like like copy the world over, take it into creative, and then really kind of get an eye on how big everything needs to be, just so I don't have to waste rockets and waste pickaxe durability and time gathering blocks I may not even need. If you'd be interested in seeing a live stream where I do that and I just kind of map out and start to figure out what I'm wanting, please let me know. Live streams typically have one major goal, and then the last one was to get the beacons. Obviously we ended up getting them, but it was in episode 13. It was not in the live stream I had wished. My cat ended up knocking my capture card and it unplugged it from my PC, and I was having a whole lot of other issues. Like my PC was throwing up all sorts of error codes. So we did get them in the end, but not when I wanted to. You know, it's not her fault, it's mine for the way my setup is, and she just wanted love. So no hate. Like, I'm not throwing shade at my cat. Like at the end of the day, this is a game and she is one of my children, so please don't hate in the comments for that. The episodes get more views than the streams anyway, which the number isn't what I'm looking at. I just like to be able to communicate and have a community. But thank you to everyone who's watched this far into it. And if you, like I said, if you want to see this grow and actually become something really cool, please subscribe. It helps out a lot whenever you like and comment as well. So any ideas that you have, or like any games or anything I could kind of look up and figure out the different like ways that the cities work and stuff, please let me know. Or like any movies or any specific scenes, because it's really hard to Google when you don't know the names of anything. I just want to figure out how to start, so that way I can get started. Because once I get started, I can start getting finished with the project. This will be at least the next year. Going into 2027 is when I want to finish the beginning of this project, which is laying out the districts and all of the buildings. Most of the inner workings may take until midway through next year, and then towards the end of 2027 is when I want to start season 2. So if you have any crazy ideas for something else I could learn, then also let me know. But until then, please stay safe out there and stay frosty.